technical difficulties on this side. It's proven to be quite typical. Right? Seems as though, as far as my phone goes, it gets slower and slower as the days go on. I don't know if y'all can feel me out there. Those sort of things are bothersome. Kind of get me all agitated. All right. There's technical difficulties tonight, and been running behind a little bit. Still gearing up, because I understand that some people are looking forward to the live stream, the radio broadcast tonight. So still gearing up to try to do that. But I thought I would go on prior to that, do a little live stream to express some of the things that's going through my head before the stream, and also to observe whatever technical difficulties might be going down right now. I don't know if y'all can see my I don't know if y'all can see me, hear me, or anything like this. I don't know if it's recording or anything like this. I do know that my phone looks terrible. My phone looks choppy and stuff. Hey, this dog over here is going crazy, but that's typically what she does. And stop moving or breathing really, really fast and really loud. But that's just what she does. She's trying to chew up wart medicine, and it's terrible. I took it away from her. Well, we might go ahead and have a conversation, I guess, real quick. But like I said, still hopefully planning to gear up, do that music broadcast, because sometimes you gotta relax, and it's gonna be one of those times, definitely one of those days. However, the technical difficulties of the phone, I don't know if it'll permit such that you cannot hear me or see me, judging by how my phone's acting. Alright. I guess because I don't know whether or not I am on the internet right now, might as well just sit here and talk with y'all what I've been, looking at recently, or as of today, or I've been doing it for a while. But earlier I was looking at the Parkland situation. Not only that, but all sort of different other situations, and I want to kind of group them together while we're talking real quick. I was looking at the Parkland situation, and I got all this footage. I really do. I got all this material I got to put together and edit together and stuff, and I'm actually suffering from technical difficulties on that because I had to get another USB disk and blah blah blah, all sort of details. I run out of space very easily. I run out of space on my phone very easily, on my computer, on this and that, and so I got to get more space. Probably got to go to the store for that and this and that. So there's stuff that I got to do. But I was doing a little research, and on the Parkland situation, just going over the footage again and again as I do, trying to put it together, put it into YouTube videos or internet videos, and it's remarkable. All right. And there's a lot of people who are in the in crowd who know that people have said all sort of absurd things in regards to Parkland. And when I say people, I mean representatives, I mean authorities, have said all sort of just wild things that absolutely contradict each other. It's like a gaggle. He's just running all just willy-nilly, man, like chickens with their heads cut off. They don't even know what they're saying, and it doesn't matter because there's really no consequence to what they say at all. Like people don't really, I mean, people don't really call them out. Like for example, you got a Bill Nelson and you got a Sheriff Israel. Haven't been called out yet, and they keep hiding. They keep hiding behind whatever secrecy, national secrecy. Hey, shout out to Philip Boyd. up in the house. He said that he does hear me and see me, and that's cool, man. Well, that's pretty good because I don't see or hear myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's the phone technology. I got a Galaxy S7. Of course, I need to update it every single month, or else the phone's not gonna work. Stuff like that, that sort of stuff. I mean, it would get you kind of like irritated, right? And then listen, man, there's other stuff going on, and so my mind's been kind of boggled earlier today, and it's been dwelling upon this case. After a while, you start to validly consider yourself an expert on this case, and pretty much I am. I know it hurts my brain to know that I know more about this case than it seems like anybody's willing to talk about. All right, some people are willing to talk about it, but anyways, I guess the main point of what I wanted to talk about, I guess, right now is that it's crazy to notice. I don't know if crazy would be a good word or an appropriate word, but it's interesting to notice. I know everybody who I'm related to. Well, for the most part, there could be exceptions. They're willing to throw anybody under the bus. It seems, all right. They're willing to just like go out on a limb and just believe whatever, especially what they see on the thing. The television will tell you who's guilty, who's not guilty. All right, it's like people will just swallow it, dude. Nobody needs evidence because everybody's been trained to not even ask for any evidence. All right, and it is all over the place when you think about it. I mean, it's all sort of stories that we don't know about. But like on a national level, for example, everybody and their freaking mama is talking about Judge Kavanaugh, for example. All right, the whole hearings and stuff. The other day, my dad tried to text me about it. He was like, "Oh, are you keeping up with the Kavanaugh hearings?" I didn't even text him back because I already know what he's going to say, man. Whatever the television has to say, obviously, Kavanaugh's super guilty, blah, 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 whatever else. Isn't this the worst? It's the worst nightmare. Thing is, ultimately, ain't no evidence there. People having hearings, and I've seen it basically crying and weeping and holding each other during the congressional hearings about something for which nobody in the world has evidence for, aside from that lady, whatever her name is, Blasey Ford. Nobody in the world corroborates her story, but yet and still Congress is still out there crying about it, and it's nuts. You look at a guy like Bill Nelson. It's nuts. As soon as the Parkland thing happened, he came out crying and looking senile, shaking around and stuff like this, saying all sort of absurdities. Talking about taking everybody's. These are our senators who sit there crying and telling us lies and stuff. It's like, wow, this is so. But I guess the main takeaway, what I want to express, you have a group of people who are realizing that there's a machine incriminating all sort of people, throwing people in jail and this and that and the other, even with no evidence. And we're terribly disturbed by this. We're absolutely, we're taken aback by it because it's just amazing. It's shoved right in our face. And then you have another group of people, and these are two minorities. You got another group of people, they're willing to throw anybody in jail. They'll throw their own mama in jail. They'll throw their own children in jail, right? They'll laugh at me for saying it, but they absolutely will, with no evidence. They don't need evidence. They'll throw themselves in jail with no evidence because that's what they've been trained to do. For example, they'll come to these videos or maybe someone else's videos. And they'll be like, y'all conspiracy theorists. It's like, dude, y'all need to, you know what I mean? Just go somewhere else with it. That's the thing about it. As long as there's this minority. See, it's all right that there's a minority who want to imprison everybody with no evidence, no matter who it is. but they're being given such platforms, right? That, like, that we need to hear. They need to be in Congress. They need to be doing this. They need to be all over the television. They need to be doing all these things. And they won't shut up about it. That's the problem. They'll go so far as to tell us facts that were over the top, just verifiably wrong, aka a Bill Nelson, right? He's running for I guess he's rerunning for senator, right? He literally told us absolutely absurd information about the Parkland shooting, and ain't nobody calling him out for that. Ain't nobody saying, "Oh, dude, what are you talking about? Gas masks? What are you talking about? Smoke grenades? You don't even know what you're talking about. You're a senile old man who's shaking and crying and stuff like that, telling everybody it's a certain type of gun that did it." I don't know. I'm not real sure. Um, Shoot, man, people talking about Roblox, and that's cool to do. But I just wanted to get that out in the open. All right, just wanted to kind of like breathe it out in the atmosphere. As far as like, we're really going down a road in which um, innocent until proven guilty is just not something some people will stand for. They absolutely believe in guilty until proven innocent. And meanwhile, this kind of thing has been happening before, but now it's like a widely accepted. It's a celebrated thing. People go to prison maybe for years before their trial starts. You understand? Um, and it's a problem because technically it's absolutely flying in the face of the Constitution. And as long as there's some people who believe in the Constitution and there's some people who couldn't burn it fast enough, and they're both cohabitating in this country, it's like, dang, dude, it has to come to conflict. And you already know, me personally, my own personal perspective, violence ain't the key. Violence ain't the answer. All right? But, we got some wild stuff in store for us, certainly. I've been seeing all sort of calamity going on as far as the midterms, which is paramount. That's what everything is about. Absolutely everything, from the Kavanaugh case to the Parkland case to all these other cases, man. They have everything to do with the midterms, unfortunately, for some reason. And that's coming up. That's approaching us pretty soon. Anyways, I wanted to talk about that. But however, if y'all got some other topics in mind, holler at me. Throw them out in the comments, whatever else y'all might want to talk about before we get out of here and stuff. I want to thank y'all for joining me and stuff like that. I don't know what y'all have been talking about because I haven't really been paying attention. But I love music. Music is awesome. Yeah, music is awesome. That's interesting, and that's what we're talking about as well. Violence never is the answer. However, the answer for some people is, of course, to throw people in prison with no evidence, no matter what, just to throw them in prison. And that actually involves violence, and that is the problem, technically speaking. Because I could say, like, everybody, let's get along, everybody, let's, agree to disagree. However, throwing people in prison is actually a violent act. It's very violent. But music, if we change it up, music is awesome. And the reason is because it's kind of like a discourse that you could have through music. People can totally disagree about whatever through music. And yeah, still nobody has to get killed over music. Like, nobody has to go to jail necessarily for music. You can express all sort of ideas. And I could try to understand where you come from through music. And so therefore it is pretty awesome. So, universal language. And might I say, throughout the generations, I've noticed, these past few generations, every single generation will say this about the younger generation. They'll say, those people, these youngsters, they don't know what music is. They listen to all this garbage, and it's all garbage, and it's all stupid. right? This has happened the past, I don't know, just all throughout history, I guess. That's what's happened. All right. So you have millennials nowadays, or even Generation Z, and people look at their music and say, "Oh, this is stupid. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, this blah blah blah, whatever else." And meanwhile, it really doesn't even matter because people's opinions don't matter. The music is the music, and it's a lot of people get hung up on, I guess, their own generation's music, you know, and they don't realize how much music has affected them. Right? It's not the other way around. Right? They kind of went on a ride and stuff like this, and basically, it's a way of, I guess, cutting themselves off from the different generations. Right? It's very detached from the next generation. And it's always garbage. Like when the millennials grow up and stuff, they're gonna look back at what comes out after them and say, "Oh, this ain't music. Oh, this is garbage. Oh, I want to listen to Cardi B. Oh, I want to listen to," you know what I mean? Like, and it's just a constant cycle. Meanwhile, the music does get more and more perverse. Absolutely. I want to say this about the music that um, the the millennials, the Generation Z. We're talking about Killer Gamer and that kind of age range, and even younger, but there's some that are even older, right? What I want to say is this: I don't have anything against anybody's music at all, even pop music. It's worth listening to, it's worth acknowledging because it is pop music. But I do want to say this: music certainly is more perverse, and it is many times more perverted and gross, and really lots of times very, it's just that it doesn't set a good example. It's very negative. Most things I notice in music are actually very negative when in consideration for the messages, the lyrics involved. It's very destructive, things of this nature. An artist lives a tortured existence, if you will, and so it tends to be that way. And this generation is definitely, it's much worse. It's like, trust me, music is getting more and more, um, I don't know what word you'd use, perverted, probably. But it's a window into what generation I think is. Like, for example, I listened to that boy Takashi 69 or Lil Pump. Or, or I don't know, I forget all their different names and stuff like that. But I listen to those people. You might ask why they're not any good. Well, I mean, I agree, they're not good, but that's not even the point. By the millions and millions, they have influence, and it's worth acknowledging. And if you don't acknowledge it, well, you might as well just cut yourself off because people identify with their music. So basically, you got to reach people through their music. I think you shout out to them, I guess, for the direction they're taking, like Kanye West, for example, or a J. Cole. I don't necessarily listen to their music all the time. Maybe Kanye West, not necessarily J. Cole, but they're reaching out to the youth. You'll notice they're reaching out to the youth, and you might say, "Oh, Kanye sucks," or "Oh, Lil Pump sucks," and stuff. It really doesn't matter. They make all sort of money, and that is the situation. Is their music very vulgar? Yes, it is. It's kind of disturbing, but that's what it is. It's a window into the psyche of the youth. And music is awesome. It's real awesome. All right. I do want to mention that on a personal level, I tend to listen to lyrics. I have a thing about words. They'll enter my brain and I'll hear them. And so I've always liked rap music for that reason. And a lot of people do not listen to the lyrics, and they don't analyze what's being said to them. Right? They just absorb it because it sounds good and stuff like this. It's one of the most dangerous things that you could do ever, probably. I'm here to tell you. And I love music. I listen to it all the time. Especially, like music with lyrics and stuff like this. It's one of the most dangerous things that you'll ever do. It's music. And talk about that from time to time, subconscious things of that nature. Blah, blah, blah. Killer gamer. I know a lot of times words mean stuff like that. Perverted, it means a lot of words, man. You know, it means a lot of things, I guess you would say. And I don't really want to go into it too much, but it's to say, gosh, you know, I don't know what all, like, what words are used in school. Like, for example, if I were to describe perverted, I don't know what word I would say said bad or mean or inappropriate, things of this nature. Like, I'm not sure how I would describe it, but it's off-putting. A lot of older folks would find it to be gross. They say, oh man, what they're talking about is gross. What they're singing about is very gross. And it's very negative. And typically it is. You know, I'd have to agree. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is. Everybody's worth listening to, I think is what I'm trying to get at. And music is awesome. So I would agree. Hey man, we got Philip Andrew up in the dang chat room. Let's see how many people can get up in here and stuff. Man, I wasn't planning to be on so long, but you know, since we got Philip Andrew up in the dang chat room, I want to holler at him. All right, he's super deep. So is Philip Boyd. So is Killer Gamer, for that matter. Anyways, but we were discussing some things because I was feeling a little bit agitated due to technical difficulties and this and that. So I thought I would come on live before the radio broadcast, and hopefully we got to get to. I mean, we're already late on the radio broadcast as it is. We were suffering technical difficulties, so I came on beforehand, and I was discussing Parkland. All right, just to be very brief, I was discussing Parkland, and as you well know, doing all sort of research into it, and I have all sort of footage that I had to go through and I had to edit and I had to put together, you know, so that it looks good because I want to. The thing is, I want to put it together. All right, it's definitely a goal of mine. But that in of itself is kind of stressful. I'm not one to really want to be on the computer all that long or stare at a screen all that long. And so, you know, it was getting to me. Not only that, what was getting me the most, I had to explain, is that especially today, is that we have authorities in position, like, for example, Senator Bill Nelson, like, for example, Sheriff Scott Israel, and they can say whatever they want, all right, basically. And even if it comes down to, like, for example, a mass shooting, they could say whatever they want. They could be as wrong as they want. They can get everything wrong, right? And it's like no accountability. It's like nobody's calling them out for that necessarily. Nobody ever said, "Hey, well, I mean, the thing is, I bet you a lot of people said it, but a lot of people are shadow banning this and that." You know, the real sentiment is why is Sheriff Israel have two stories? How come David Hogg has two stories? How come Bill Nelson knows nothing? And he's a senator. Where's he getting this information from? That's kind of nuts. But before I see, you know, what your comments are about it, what I was experiencing today was that, and I was looking into it, and it just takes me back because I have a lot of people who I see time to time. You know, a lot of them I'm related to, but just people who I see and stuff. And it's interesting for me to know how people are to just call someone, you know, and they love the drama. Well, then they go to jail, and it doesn't even matter who it is, right? No evidence required. No evidence. Not one stitch. They don't need anything. And I also want to relate it to the Kavanaugh thing because here's the thing, and everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say Kavanaugh, right? If you want to debate, like if anybody wants to debate me out there, that they're more against sexual assault than me, then go for it because like I'm really against it. I'm very much against it, emphatically. All right. That being said, there's not one stitch of evidence at all that Kavanaugh did any of these things that what they're talking about. And if there is any evidence, they certainly haven't provided it. I was listening to the hearings. Meanwhile, everybody's sitting around Congress in these congressional hearings crying to each other. It's like, dude, I understand sexual assault is bad. I understand that. Why are y'all crying? Aren't y'all in the government? Can y'all not get down to the facts or what? So, meanwhile, from what I understand, there's going to be an investigation into it, even though literally nobody corroborates this lady's story. Nobody does. There's no proof of it at all, ever. And yet, it's going around, and she's telling everybody some stories, and it's like, dude, what? It's like, you got a guy like me stand back here, and I guess what? How I'm going to finish this? You got me back here, and I'm saying, what about innocent until proven guilty? What about that? All right, can we get a stitch of evidence? This is what I'm asking. Like, I'm begging for it. In certain instances, I'm begging for it, and I think it's actually good because people weren't so aware that this is going on. Now it's in front of our faces all day. All right, but I want to see. I want to know. It's like, is there anybody out there? And legitimately, I want to find out. I want to hammer it out. Is there anybody out there? I see the comments going and stuff, man. I wonder if I can go back in the comments. I tried to. All right, it looks like I can go back, but I see the comments going, and the thing is, like, another question I want to ask is there anybody out there who thinks Kavanaugh did this? And the thing is, I don't know who Kavanaugh is. I never cared, and yet and still, it's like, does anybody think he did this? Does anybody think Nick Cruz actually did this? All right, do they really believe it? All right, that's what I want to know. Just real quick, out of the people in there, I know I said a whole bunch of questions and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and look through your comments real quick, see what you've been talking about. The thing is, it's hard for me to talk and read the comments at the same time. You wouldn't believe this, like, extremely. I don't like doing that. All right. So I forgot. I don't see what y'all talking about. I haven't been following the Kavanaugh thing. It's like, dude, the Kavanaugh thing, just so everybody knows, it's not worth following. It is not important. It is not entertaining. It's not worth knowing about. So, for anybody out there who doesn't know anything about it, God bless you. Like, you shouldn't know anything about it. It is stupid. It goes nowhere. It's a road that goes nowhere. So, can't even spell his name. It's good. It's good that you can't spell. I'm glad. I wish I didn't know the dude's name either. To be honest with you, I think that's the end of the comments. My phone is terrible, man. I really don't know what's going on with it. If y'all have some, yeah, right. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of hard doing the reading and the talking and stuff like this. Sometimes I have to go back and forth. One of these days, we definitely, and I'm talking about everybody in the chat room, we need to have probably a Google. I don't know if we could pull that off. I mean, I'm sure we couldn't pull that off right now, but we need to do that. One of these days, I don't know if it should be a Sunday or something soon, should try to do Google Hangouts. All right, so that we can have a conversation that we could do it more fluidly. That being said, it's like, I hope my phone could even handle it, to be honest. Oh. All right, well, I'm not sure what y'all talking about, but the Google Hangout thing, getting together, having a conversation, that would be great. That'd be really good, because I want to understand what people are thinking out there. It's going through the minds of people out there. Are people enjoying themselves out there? Are they having, a good time? Are they really living life? Sometimes, I feel like I stare at a computer screen too much. I don't like it. I'd rather not. I'd rather not look at a computer screen and stuff like that. Gets me kind of stressed out, and then I got to remember to step back away, man. At the same time, part of the reason why I stress over it, I got to relate to y'all, is, I'm out here. I don't have a fun life, but I have fun doing it, I guess you would say. Like, there's nothing cool. Like, there's nothing to envy about my life, necessarily. But, however, technically there is. When you consider Nicholas Cruz, for example, he's in prison right now. Right? Or jail, I'm not sure. He might be in the county jail. I'm not sure. But he's in jail, right? At the very least, it's going to be what? Something like 2 years before his trial even goes to trial. right? And at the most, people said stuff like 3 years, right? Never mind that that's completely, absolutely contradicting the Constitution. Completely and absurdly, all right? But like he has to wait all those months just to get to trial, and then meanwhile his trial is going to take forever and ever, dude. He's just got to set it out, all right? And I'm over here, and I'm not in that situation. There's times briefly, maybe once a week, when I kiss Cruz. He's in there, and mind you, I don't know what happened at Parkland, all right? I know it's basically impossible for Nicholas Cruz to have done what he did. It's simple. So he's sitting in a cell, and he ain't got nowhere to go. Meanwhile, I'm out here and stuff, and that's kind of why people might be asking, why would you go through this? A lot of people do a much better job on, like, I've seen them out there as far as looking for justice for certain people. There's a lot of people out there who put in mad work. And that's why they do it. The tireless work. It's so stressful to get you to smoke cigarettes, so to get you to start drinking. It's like, it's stressful. It really is. But at the same time, man, our justice system is beyond repair. I mean, when there's people in government, literally, I could tell you anything, and you and I just gotta sit back and say, oh yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah. I guess so. Take away our rights and this and that, and just keep hammering it home. And I wonder about the youth out there, man. They've been so trained. They've been so trained up and just going along with the flow. All right, and feel bad. I feel bad for him, man, because that's kind of like the place that we put him in. Anyways. I'm judging. I see there's 4 people up in the room. I might talk a little bit further, but I think tonight might be a good night to put stuff on hold and just like take a pause and take a breather, and especially to enjoy the little stuff that we take for granted. Got a dog out there wandering around. She's annoying, man. She breathes really, really loudly. She'll get all over my face, but at the same time, man, it's a wonderful creature. It's worth appreciating her. Tonight, for example, it's not very hot, and typically it is in San Antonio, but it's not too hot. Just a slight breeze going through, and it just got done raining for a couple weeks and stuff. It's pretty nice out. Shoot, man, you see, y'all having a good time, like. Nothing against y'all talking in the thing, but it's like, dude, I definitely can't keep up. Whatever y'all talking about, God bless y'all and stuff like that. But I hope y'all, taking it real easy and stuff like that. And thinking about, and it's not just Nicholas Cruz. All right? It ain't just a Nicholas Cruz. It's so many people out there in jail, in prison. Ain't no way around it. It's like, dude, they're in prison. A lot of these people did not do it. All right, that's not to say the majority. Maybe probably the majority of them did do it, whatever it was. But there's definitely a lot of people who fly under the radar. Meanwhile, it's important to note that in the system that we've created. Wow. Whoa. In the world? I don't even think I'm online. I don't even think I'm on the internet. All right. I'm gonna see if anybody comes in to the dang live stream. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody does. Obviously, there's people in the dang live stream. Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you, and I appreciate you for coming out. See y'all in there watching and stuff. I don't know I don't have not one clue what just happened. If maybe it cut off the internet, maybe it didn't. Maybe my phone thinks it did. Maybe it did, or if it did, I have not the singlest clue. But it does appear as though my phone cuts out basically whenever just want to do it, things of that nature. So just to let y'all know, network problems. Um, yeah, everybody, if you got something to do, go for it, and it's good. But figure since able to cut out at any moment. Who the heck knows? I'm not sure. But in the meantime, go ahead and let's just go ahead and have whatever topic. Just throw out a topic. You know, something that is something you find interesting right now, and then maybe I'll talk about it, and then probably other people in the comment section might so it's a little Q&A session or whatever. I don't know. What are y'all thinking about? What are y'all pondering out there? I don't know. All right, I figure we might as well do that before we get on out of here. Before we get cut off again, stuff like that. Philip Andrew, blip 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 blip. Philip Andrew. It was good hanging out for what little time I was here. What would be? Oh, well, yeah, man. Check you out later. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's pretty much what I came on to talk about. Is it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to get wound up in this sort of situation. I know a lot of people are gonna experience that out there, getting wound up maybe over something that you feel really needs to be done. And chances are that thing does need to be done. You do have a purpose. You do have like goals that need to be met. Right? But at the same time, you don't want to be banging your head up against the wall. Alright. I just want to let y'all know. I realize this about my generation. Not only my generation, but just humanity in general. There's certain people that they don't of the innocence of maybe other people. Like they're easily convinced of the guilt of other folks, man. They won't need evidence. They won't need this and that. They get into a murderous rage, right? And then they want blood. They get some, and they're gonna want more. They start craving it, and that's what we're dealing with, particularly in this country. It's interesting. This is a very peaceful country for the most part. It won't stop. There's certain constituency of people who I honestly think can't stop, won't stop until everybody else is in jail. That's what they want. Lots of times they're communists or socialists, something like this. That's terrible. It's terrible, but they're out there. Some people might want to talk to him. I don't know. Maybe you should talk to him. I don't know. I might talk to him from time to time, but I get a little bit agitated at this point because it seems as though they want me in jail. They want everybody else in jail. And I find it unsavory. But y'all, anyways, it was good talking to y'all. And for the rest of the night, just to let y'all know, I'm going to be taking it easy. I'm not going to be getting very worked up. But I am going to be looking at all sort of evidence, all sort of footage that, when I'm done with it, it needs to go viral. Like, here's the thing. I don't try to get numbers necessarily with the things that I do. These videos that I be doing. To put it accurately, things that I do, things that I talk about, I don't edit them all that great. So not a lot of production value in them. Because the reason is I don't care about the numbers of people who come see me and see what I have to talk about from day to day. Like as far as what I have to say about Serena Williams, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Right? But as far as what I'm putting together, and I don't know how long it's going to take doing it today, but I'm sure it's going to take much longer. What I'm putting together really needs to be seen by everybody. Right? And if like nobody knows I did it, who cares? I don't care. People need to know about this. Right? People need to be reached Mind you, all sort of people are throwing together compilations, I'm sure, out there. The man, Joseph Callahan, obviously put it down. He's been putting it down. But I also want to get in there. And I want to show people just how over the top, wackadoodle, all these lies that are being told to them right to their face. How absurd it could possibly be. And it's very absurd. I think that needs to go viral, right? And it's not going to change anybody's mind, right? What it's going to do is convince certain people that, yeah, maybe the government will run all over you and your family. Maybe it will throw everybody you know in jail, right? And maybe you shouldn't trust it so much. Those people already had that feeling. But the video is just going to drive it home, all right? We're at absurd proportions at this point. Epic proportions. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of people out there who are not going to be swayed by that. You could show them a mountain of evidence, and all they're going to want is the death or imprisonment of Nicholas Cruz. Television said he did it, right? And that's it. I'm not trying to convince none of those people. As of September the 20th or the 30th, if you still think that it's a possibility that Nicholas Cruz killed all those people in that school, trust me, I'm not trying to reach you at all. I couldn't care no less, right? Because you're going to be on that boat forever and ever because that's where you want to be. And that's all right. It's all right by me. But I'm going to be working over here talking about justice, all right? And I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. I appreciate y'all.